To Dr. Nunita I. Prado, Professor of the School of Graduate Studies handling the subject Advanced Methods of Research. To all my classmates here present and in attendance in this virtual engagement, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everyone. Allow me to present my research proposal entitled Teachers' Organizational Commitment, Citizenship Behavior, and Work Engagement, the Influence of Principles Authentic Leadership. I am Mr. Jason S. Digamon, Education Program Specialist 2 from the Division of Hingoog City. Leaders certainly make a difference. Authorities who lead at the top contribute to either the decline or improvement of their organizations. Through setting the standards, serving as role models, establishing good communications with their followers, leaders boost organizational success and productivity. And so, why exactly is leadership important, by the way? Now, for organizations, to succeed in an increasingly competitive global environment is a significant issue. And to succeed, effective leadership can make a difference. As researchers noted, leadership leadership influences important organizational outcomes such as job satisfaction, performance of employees, organizational culture, and climate and or communications, among others, according to Ho, Kovjanek et al. And Wang et al. In 2013. Now, talking about these variables that I have just projected before you, employees looking for organizations with leaders to influence effectively is an important concern. Hence, leadership is one of the top reasons why an employee will stop contributing to the benefit of the company. That's according to a lot of researchers. Um, some of them are Wallumbwa, Luthans, Avi, and Oki in 2009. Now, schools actually do not detach themselves from the scenario. Schools, as educational organizations, likewise face a limitless assortment of challenges. Now, for one thing, for example, students who come from poor families tend to be identified as at risk of dropping out and not graduating. Now, schools with these at-risk students require not only strong teachers but also effective leaders or effective principals. As espoused by researchers, collaboration between teachers and administrators or principals improves student outcomes. It is according to UNRIG in 2015. Now, in the context of organizational leadership, there is one problem here, and my paper is highlighting this. That in the context of organizational leadership, um, this paper actually recognizes the meta-analysis of Leach in 2009, advancing the claim that there is really an abundance of literature around job satisfaction, organizational commitment and engagement of teachers, including master teachers and supervisors and principals. However, while studies in the education area have examined both observed and perceived influences on the job satisfaction, commitment, and engagement of teachers and principals, they have largely ignored the leadership in public schools and the impact these leaders may have on the other parts of the organization. That is according to Leach in 2009. Now, this lack of research is of particular concern because many of our principals today will become tomorrow superintendents leading the different divisions in our country. Now, as to the uniqueness of this study, let me point out that the principal's ability to do his or her job is ultimately his or her leadership style. And currently, one leadership style or leadership behavior under study is authentic leadership. Now, this authentic leadership is actually, according to literature, is a relatively new construct that gained its weighty regard on the need for a theory-driven model that could guide leadership development. And authentic leadership actually refers to the type of leaders who actually hold the beliefs they espouse. These leaders, the leader's authenticity presents itself in their actions. So, this particular leadership behavior focuses on psychological and ethical climate of the organization that our principals or our leaders are trying to foster or promote. Now, so why do we need to study authentic leadership? Now, this proposal or this paper of mine is actually a way of bridging the gap in the literature, which emphasizes that there have been fewer studies that examine the relationship between authentic in leadership and positive organizational outcomes. And so there is a need for more research in this. It is according to Wolumbua et al. In 2010 and Northhouse 2010 and Wary in 2012. Now, previous studies on leadership solely put emphasis actually on defining authentic leadership um, and explaining its meaning, hence an increasing demand for empirical researchers in the area of authentic leadership is sought after according to a lot of researchers. Um, there is also a need because there is to study because there is a scarcity of empirical studies on principles of authentic leadership and its influence on educational processes and outcomes according to Ozturk in 2020 very recently. Now hence this study would like to investigate the impact of authentic leadership on the following organizational outcomes, as you can see on the slide projected before you, such as organizational commitment, organizational behavior, citizenship behavior, and work engagement of the teachers. Now, very shortly, let me just define the most important set of terms in seen in the schematic diagram. When we talk about authentic leadership, it is a form of positive leadership that describes the school principal whose behavior promotes both positive psychological and ethical climate for the teachers they are working with. So that is authentic leadership. And I'm going to connect that to important positive organizational outcomes such as commitment, citizenship behavior, and work engagement. When we talk about commitment, it refers to the teacher's attitude and attachments towards their schools that are manifested by their willingness to present effort and loyalty to their work. So that means to say, when we talk about commitment, there are terms here that we have to remember. One, loyalty, then willingness to work. Uh, these are terms involved under organizational commitment. Talking about citizenship behavior, it is actually a variable that is new to me personally as a researcher because organizational citizenship behavior is a term that refers to teachers' actions that are not part of their formal job description in the school. So I'm going to study about some actuations or manifested actions of teachers that are not necessarily part of their to day teaching job description. So that is the scope of organizational citizenship behavior, including altruism, sportsmanship, courtesy, conscientiousness, and civic virtue. And then last, we have work engagement. It is defined as a positive, fulfilling work-related state of mind that is characterized by the following attitudes. We have vigor, dedication, and absorption. Now, to be able to link or connect the variables under study, I made use of a lot of theories, but I'm highlighting only two theories here just to provide an overview of the linkage between and among the variables under study. Now, authentic leadership behavior is one theory that I used to link authentic leadership and organizational outcomes. And second, since in my study, one intention also is to link, to connect the three identified organizational outcomes. We have commitment, behavior, and work engagement. Since one of my questions is on the relationship between the three of them, the theory that explains their relationship, that explains that there is seemingly a relationship between and among the three of them, we have the social exchange theory. Now, for my methodology, I am going to employ the explanatory sequential mixed methods design um, will be used to answer the research questions that this research seeks to investigate. So when we talk about explanatory sequential mixed methodology research design, it is actually a research design as explained by Creswell, Plano, Clark et al. In 23, as well as Green, Caracelli, and Graham in 1989. This particular methodology is making use of a procedure where the researcher first conduct the quantitative part of the study, the numerical aspect of the study. Then, after that, conduct qualitative methodology in order to reinforce the data gathered from the numerical aspect of the study. So first is numerical, quantitative, and next is qualitative. So that makes this research methodology very effective and very strong. There are actually four steps that I'm going to follow. First, we have design and implement the quantitative strand. Then step two is use strategies to follow from the quantitative results. And then step three, design and implement the qualitative strand. And step four, interpret the connected results. So for the respondents and research locale, the respondents to be included in this study will be the 212 secondary school teachers from the 16 secondary schools of Hingoog City. Now, the study will employ the proportionate simple random sampling design to determine our my sample. And then this study will be conducted in Hingoog City, covering all 16 public secondary schools under the jurisdiction of the Schools Division of Hingoog City. Now, there are actually four research instruments that I'm going to make use of to measure all the four variables under study, including their subcategories and subtypes. No? So I have here the Authentic Leadership Questionnaire by Avolu, Garner, and Walumbo in 2007, the Organizational Commitment Questionnaire, the Utrecht Work Engagement Scale, and the Organizational Citizenship Behavior Survey. All are actually adapted questionnaire, but during the conduct of the study, I would like to create my own research instruments. I am going to read in depth the constructs and the variables involved in the study, so I can possibly construct my own instrument. Now, for the data gathering procedure, there is six phases. First, we have the preparation of the instruments. The second, we have I am going to secure the approval of the school's division superintendent. Then third, I'm going to meet the respondents as scheduled, of course, following the ethical considerations or ethical protocols. Then the fourth phase, we have the administration of the instruments. The fifth is the conduct of FGD. And sixth is the collection, presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. So as you can see, first is the quantity, and then the second phase is the quali. And this, for the statistical tools, I'm going to make use of descriptive statistics such as mean, frequency, percentage, and standard deviation, multiple linear regression, and Pearson product moment correlation. And to look at my statistical plan so that everyone has an overview of the techniques that statistical techniques that I'm going to employ against the research questions involved in this particular study. Now, question number one, how do the teachers perceive the authentic leadership behavior of their school principals? Then it has no hypothesis since the question is descriptive. The statistical techniques also is descriptive statistics. We have frequency, mean, percentage, and standard deviation. Question two, to what extent are the teachers committed in their organizations considering so the subtypes, no hypothesis, then statistical techniques, we have descriptive statistics. Research question number three, how do the teachers perceive their organizational citizenship behavior? No hypothesis, still descriptive statistics will be used. Four, what is the level of teachers' work engagement? No hypothesis, the statistical treatment, we have descriptive statistics. Then question number five, do the dimensions of authentic leadership impact organizational commitment? Considering the subtypes, the hypothesis, the The dimensions of authentic leadership do not impact organizational commitment. Statistical technique will be multiple regressions. Then question number 6, do the dimensions of authentic leadership affect the teacher's organizational citizenship behavior? The hypothesis will be the dimensions of authentic leadership do not affect teachers' organizational citizenship. The statistical techniques, we have multiple linear regression. Then question number 7, do the dimensions of authentic leadership explain the attributes of employee engagement? As follows. Then the hypothesis will be the dimensions of authentic leadership do not explain the attribute of employee engagement. Still, the statistical treatment is multiple linear regression. And the last question is about the relationship between and among the organizational outcomes in the study. Then the hypothesis, there is no significant relationship between and among them. And the statistical technique is Pearson paradox moment correlation. And here are some of my major references. Thank you very much for listening to me.